maker technology and the promise of empowerment in a Flemish school for disabled children. Maker culture encourages do-it-yourself practices and a hacking mindset to create, repair, and repurpose technology. In human-computer interaction research, it is seen as a means of empowering people, providing affordable and customizable technology with the potential to enrich areas such as assistive technology. However, we see that the adoption of making in the creation and use of assistive technology lags behind, and non-use and abandonment of assistive technologies persists to this day. This apparent paradox lies at the heart of this paper. The goal of our work is to contribute an in-depth case study that can give nuanced insights into the potential of DIY maker technology in the context of a school for disabled children. Over the course of one school year, the first author of this paper worked as a volunteer in a Flemish school for 5 hours per week. This participant observation unveiled the complex ecosystem of power structures and dependencies that impact how students, teachers, and therapists interact and do not interact with technology. We present 3 themes regarding empowerment values in the school and how the ongoing processes in the school enable or complicate attaining these values. We refer to the paper where we precede each of these themes with a vignette as a form of storytelling to illustrate the theme through a lived experience that contextualizes and relays the important connections between the researcher, students, teachers, and staff. First, we notice a heterogeneity in a fluid environment where connections with others were very important. There is a diversity of students and assistive devices, which we can see on this sketch of a typical moment in class. Here, equality of opportunity and facilitating the participation of all students mattered. Also, class and therapy blend. While therapists were responsible for drafting a personalized therapy plan for the students, our observations highlight that teachers were the main stakeholders responsible for its implementation. As a result, it was not possible nor meaningful to delineate where in-class learning ended and therapy began. In our second theme, we present the school as an endemically underfunded environment. This shows in the shortage of staff, broken technology, and inadequate infrastructure. On the picture here, we see how a powered wheelchair is charged in a hallway, obstructing the hallway for most students with mobility aids. And then our third theme shows how teachers and therapists continuously anticipate and react to unexpected events. Throughout the day, teachers and therapists need to balance the preferences and needs of the different students and combine this with unexpected events, not only because of the unique situation of each student, but also because of the inadequate infrastructure and the state of technology. So there is a continuous need for improvisation and creativity to work in this dynamic environment. Teachers and therapists are prepared for this continual improvisation. They arrange the existing infrastructure to allow them to react in the moment and seize the opportunity. Next to empowerment values, we discuss 3 challenges regarding technology. We focus specifically on the use and non-use of assistive and other technologies and on empowerment. Interactive, complex technologies ended up unused as these come with expectations about a supportive infrastructure. The need for a stable Wi-Fi signal, drivers that had to be updated, batteries needed to be charged, Bluetooth pairings need to be established, or software licenses need to be renewed. Objects, tools, and materials which were used were always available and always functioning. These materials also require a minimal setup, minimal configuration, and minimal maintenance, respecting time as a scarce resource in the school. Unintentionally, several assistive technologies seem to reinforce disability and limit autonomy, particularly in environments that were not fit for purpose. Technology introduced inequalities between students and did not subscribe to the value of ensuring equal opportunity to participate among students. In class, these devices risked of dividing the group rather than facilitating collaboration. And finally, interactive technologies would not only end up unused, but additionally occupy valuable space and often come with expectations of maintenance and repair requiring valuable time. In the paper, we present this case of an interactive projector that was abandoned due to constraints in time and space. We now revisit our findings in relation to empowerment theory by Zimmermann and his colleagues. First, we emphasize the interdependencies between the individual, the organization, and the community. Our work suggests that the potential of DIY assistive technology and technology as such to empower disabled students need to be understood in the context of all interconnected levels of empowerment. Empowerment is interwoven and arises from the dynamic interactions between the level of the individual, the child, the teacher, the therapist, and the school as an organization, and the societal level. Then, looking at aspects of empowerment as presented by Zimmermann and colleagues, teachers strove to facilitate a classroom situation in which children have access to resources. With respect to interactive technology, we observed many instances in which technology implicitly complicated or broke this approach. While the empowerment values of the organization were to support students in their comfort and overall well-being, teachers implemented it by fostering connection and participation among students. Our work leaves us wondering whether the methods and approaches frequently used in HEI research, such as interviews or workshops, can achieve critical awareness. We hypothesize that short-term engagement at institutions may result in recording only front-stage behaviors, leading to fundamentally flawed assumptions about the role and potential of technology. We refer to the paper where we continue the discussion about infrastructuring. We conclude that despite the promising characteristics of making technology, we assume that when designing and introducing without a deep level of participation and understanding of different levels of complexities of empowerment in the social-cultural deployment setting, maker technologies will in fact create additional barriers to empowerment. We hope that other researchers and designers within the HEI community develop a more realistic perspective of the reality of technology deployment in schools for disabled children. Our paper decisively and intentionally ends without implications for design of technology in this specific setting. Basic infrastructural needs of students, staff, and schools need to be addressed before it is time to turn toward technology as a means of supporting, augmenting, and hopefully improving this environment.